Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, covering another Marcellus Wiley video that he recently put out, and this involves the Oakland A's announcer, Glen Kuiper. I believe that's his name. I might be pronouncing his last name wrong, but on a recent broadcast, he put out a racial slur. He said the N-word, and he didn't say it with an A. He said it with the ER. He was talking about how he recently visited I believe it was a museum for African Americans or Black Americans. And instead of saying Black Americans, he used the N-word. And, as you guys can probably see, he's been suspended indefinitely, and they're reviewing the situation. But we know what reviewing a situation truly means in this world. They're waiting to see how much backlash is this going to receive. And if it receives, if it exceeds that threshold, the acceptable threshold, he will most likely lose his job. And when I first heard this, I wasn't really sure how to react, because it's like, I don't know him, right? I don't know this individual. I don't know if this was a Freudian slip, if this was a mistake. I don't know. I can't speak for him, and I feel like no matter what side you take on that, people are going to come for you, right? Now, I will say it was wrong, no matter what. What he said was wrong, and he should be, professionally punished for it. Does it mean he should lose his livelihood? Well, that's a tough subject, but the reality is when you're in the public eye, right, the rules are different. And when you are, on television, on a radio broadcast, you say the wrong thing. Firing is usually the offense, depending on what it is. And I think this is a situation that he issued an apology. We don't know if this man discriminates against the Black community or Black individuals. We don't know, but when you have a public job, and it's no different from people getting canceled every day, which I'm not for the cancel culture, right? But this isn't truly cancel culture. This is doing something on the job that's against job rules, right? You show up late too much, your job have grounds to fire you. You disrespect someone at work, which is what this can be considered, your job has grounds to fire you. So I don't know his job's rules and regulations, but more than likely they're against what he did. So if they do fire him, it would be justifiable. But let's hear what Marcellus had to say.
Ooh, the Oakland A's announcer uses the hard R when talking about his visit to the Baseball Negro League Museum. Yes, Glen Kuiper has now been suspended indefinitely for using the N-word on air. And you guys can take a listen to it, and then let's talk through it.
We had a phenomenal day today. Negro League Museum and Arthur Bryant's Barbecue.
Woo. And I gotta just pause right there before Marcellus can keep going, because I know you guys heard it. Oof, it's just spicy, right? And it's like, damn, bro. Like what? Like there is no. It's indefensible, right? It's a mistake, or maybe not. Like I said, I don't know him. I don't know if this is who he is, but I'm gonna just take it at face value, because I always try to look at take the optimistic route and try to give people the benefit of doubt, right? So I'm gonna say this is not who he is. This is not what's in his heart. He slipped up. But yeah, it's a fireable offense because you said it on air that, thousands to possibly millions heard. I'm sure they heard that by now, right? Because it's going to be circulating. So unfortunately, it's a fireable offense. And, hopefully he can, I don't know. Right now he's just suspended. So I don't want to jump to conclusion. He's not fired yet. So let's, I understand that. I'm not saying he's fired. I'm saying it's a fireable offense. But yeah.
Yeah, use the N-word, but didn't use it in the sense that we've been seeing it of late, right? With the AH or the A or the UH, whatever you want to say, and wasn't really baited by rap or rap culture or content or lyrics or anything of that nature, which gives this one a whole different breath of life. Let's talk through it. All right, so you use the hard R when he was excited and talking about his visit to the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City. And the way he said it, with no flinch, with no hesitation, and really no stop down or doubt or recourse. Like, he didn't come back and like revisit it. I was like, whoa.
Right, and I gotta, talk on that. Yeah, it's just how smooth he said it with no remorse. He didn't even say, "Oh, look, I slipped up." Now, some people are gonna say, professionalism, you just roll with the punches. It almost came off like someone made a mistake on the teleprompter and he read it, right? Like it didn't even seem like that's how, like I don't even know what's the right word, but like that's how confidently he said it. Almost like, we know these guys read off teleprompters, so it didn't even seem like he was reading, like he was coming off the head with it. Or if he was just like freestyling, right? Like he was just like, but you know how when people freestyle, they say they freestyling, but it's pre-written. It's a rhyme that they already had in their head. It looked like it was either that, which means it is something that you say, or someone messed up on the teleprompter and put that out.
That's a tough one. Now, this is going to be interesting because we're going to talk through it as we unpack it. All right. So he quickly apologizes and makes a statement that day in the game. And the next day, apology statement as well. Now, let's go into the background check, as people would like to do, even though there's a first-time offender in every single thing in this world, so be careful of the background checks because it's going to be somebody's first time doing something. But clean reputation, well respected prior to this incident. The A's quickly denounced Kuiper's language after the game, okay? So they didn't distance themselves, but they made sure we draw a hard line as we go.
And, that's PR. The PR was like, you got to get in front of this and say, hey, we not about that life. We condemn what he said, right? We know they got to do that. They did that. It does put your employee out there, but he's the one that made the mistake, so he's the one that's got to be put out there, right?
This process. So suspended and will remain off the air until a review of his on-air racial slur is completed. Review. Y'all hear that? You know what a review means in this moment? We have to measure how much backlash he's getting from the public to see if we can keep him going or not. So basically, can we bring him back on and this stays under the radar, or is this going to be something that's just going to be hot fire, hot button, and forever going to come back to haunt us? Therefore, we got to let him go. Because the video, what is it, 15 seconds? Under review. What are you reviewing? You're reviewing the response by the collective, which is obviously a part of this.
Got to get a temperature of the room.
So now the Negro League Baseball Museum president, Bob Kendrick, he actually called for forgiveness. He said, I'm aware of the unfortunate slur made by Glen Kuiper. I welcomed Glenn to the NLBM yesterday and know he was genuinely excited to be here. The word is painful and has no place in our society. Ooh, let's talk that. And while I don't pretend to know Glenn's heart, I do know that my heart is one of forgiveness. Yeah, I like that. Hope all of you will find it in ourselves to do the same.
And that's respectable, right? And like I said, if this was just a mistake, he like all things, everybody wants to be forgiven. So he does deserve forgiveness if this was a mistake, right? Now, just because I forgive you doesn't mean you don't got to get punished, right? And like I said, he's already suspended. To me, it's a fireable offense. So it doesn't mean that you don't got to update your resume, but it does mean that it was a mistake. We get it. You shouldn't be canceled. You shouldn't be condemned from life and never allowed to work again. And now you got to go on a registered racist, offender list. Nothing like that. But Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, but somebody got to pay, and the team's not going to pay, right? The team's going to, do what they got to do to protect their reputation.
Okay, I like the forgiveness part, but we sometimes go too far with forgiveness in terms of what we really do forgive. Because then you can tell when people are not really forgiving everything because they say, I forgive, but I don't forget. Every time I hear that, I'm like, so that means you don't forgive. Like, what do you mean you don't forget? So you're going to hold it against somebody that you forgive? No, you're not. You're going to hold it against them because you didn't fully forgive them. It's like you can't be half pregnant. You can't kind of forgive. Because now all of a sudden you didn't forgive them for that because they took the hit from that, right? So forgive, but don't forget. It's basically saying, I really don't forgive you, but I can deal with you. I can be cordial to you, right? I accept you on these new terms. So it's kind of weird when people say
exactly it.
That's what this sounds like to me.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe he can't work for their organization anymore, but maybe there's someone else out there that, takes the chance to say, look, you made a mistake. Don't make that mistake with us, right? And, like I said, I don't want nobody's livelihood to be ended over a mistake, unless it's like one of the most egregious acts known to man, which this isn't. This was an offensive slur. And like I said, we don't know this man's background to say that this is who he truly is. But I don't want him to lose his livelihood over it either.
Because he wants to forgive him, but at the same time, he knows that won't be what he represents, which is the Negro League Baseball Museum, and it won't be what the Oakland A's represents, which is the city of Oakland, baseball fans, etc. That's going to be tough. But he did get some support from also the former A's great. We know Dave Stewart. He went out there and said also, it's an unfortunate mistake, but he deserves a second chance. Okay, so I ask you, is this nothing, something, or everything? Woo! Whoa, well, to me, this one is everything. Why? I believe that people get second chances. I believe that, hey, you make slip-ups. I get it. But when you have a responsibility because you are public-facing, and also when you're someone who is not only a broadcaster, but representing a grand brand, beyond responsibility, you're just graded on a different standard. Extra responsibility and a difference.
And like, it's like the world ain't fair, bro. And when you on that public forum, you're going to take the bigger hit. It is what it is, right? Somebody could say that in an office space and they might get reprimanded. They might get suspended for 2 weeks. They might not lose their job. They might lose their job, but they might not, right? But when it's on TV and it's going to get played over and over and over again, every sports outlet and probably every media conglomerate is going to cover it, play it over. It's on YouTube. Myself and Marcellus is covering it. Yeah, it's out there. The A's are put in a position where it's like, yeah, we might have to separate ourselves from it, and let someone else take on the backlash, right?
Standard. And trust me, I'm there and I've been there for 20 plus years. Just can't say everything and you can't slip up on some things, right? Especially the hard R. Like, I don't know what song he listening to. Where do they say that one, right? So it's like, how did that enter the brain? Okay, it's been there. Why is it there? Oh, because it got triggered because you went to see the Negro League. Yeah, and Negro and ER real close to each other in terms of the tongue slippage, right? Really? Oh, man, I don't know about that one. So I'm trying to find a way to really absolve him. But
I'm going to point out also, even the co-host didn't react, right? Let's not forget that either, right? That's important as well. He didn't even react to what was said, right? They both kept rolling, and that's what makes me think, like, was it written on a prompter, or were they talking about this off air and then it was already in his mind, and then it bled into his conversation once the cameras was rolling, right?
Because I am one who forgives, but I forgive and don't forget. And at the same time, this is something that just, I don't see how he's going to make his way back. And he's got 2 black people, prominent black people supporting him. Hey,
and I ain't gonna help
that.
you.
And I'm not trying to torch the dude. I'm just saying some things you say, woo, because we know how they're connected to the thoughts, words, and actions continuum. So I think he's going to be in trouble with this one. Everything, not because of what I feel fully, but because I think there's going to be nearly impossible to put him back in that same position. But I love the fact that people were saying, and as we heard it, it has no place in our world. It has no place in our society. There are like billions and billions of words, and we still trying to make this one right. Just ban the damn word, people. And how do you ban it? By just don't use it.
No,
just stop using
exactly.
it. I stopped using it. I used it for probably 20, 30 some years. You know, just really desensitized to it. Not even thinking, just, mesmerized by the culture, just in it, right? Then all of a sudden, my wife came and checked me a couple times. I started listening to myself. And I was like, this word is harmful. But more than that, it's just ignorant. And it's impossible to defend saying it.
I'm gonna just pause right there because it's funny how like it's almost like me and Marcellus have a similar story because my wife also checked me for saying it too, right? Because I used to say it, and it's something that me and I also noticed my friends, you know, we've all stopped referring to each other in that way, right? Like I have noticed, especially as we gotten older, it is something that I definitely don't hear in my circle anymore. So I am proud of myself and proud of my friends, but like I said, it's funny because my wife was the first one to say, but babe, like, why do you use that? Like, don't you know how ignorant that sounds? Like, it makes you sound, unintelligent. It makes you sound out of place. And she was, and she was right. And and it's like, that's why you gotta have a good woman in your corner, right? Because men, we do foolish things, and we do need that strong woman to check us and let us know, hey, you're straying off the path, brother. You got to get back on it. So it is a word, and I respect Marcellus for owning it too, that, I stopped using with the help of my wife, and I've also noticed my friends have stopped using too. And it doesn't have a place in our culture. And that's why it's hard for me to listen to music sometimes, particularly hip hop nowadays. And I'm a hip hop head, and I love music in general, but I love hip hop, and I appreciate the culture. And I don't want this to get into like I don't respect the culture, but it is unfortunate, right? Like that this word is still being used, right? And our artists are so talented and intelligent and such wordsmith, they could use any other word and it would still sound good, right? And hopefully, I think, we'll get there, right? I just hope we get there a little quicker than what we're doing.
No one has given me a good explanation of why they say it yet. And I've heard 1,000 of them. And let me read 1,000 more in the comments. But to defend it, you always come off as a hypocrite. Oh, it's a word. Well, then everybody can use it. No, only the people who were offended can use it to now use it for a term of endearment or for good. What? Okay, but then even within that, it's not a positive word. It's not giving off emitting positive energy. Oh, yes, it is, because they used to call us this when they were putting us down. Now we saying it just because we cool. Then you can't even border the word. It goes everywhere. White people use the word, yes, they do, at concerts when they hear it, and in their private life when they hear it too. Why? Some dude is rapping it, and if that's your song, what you gonna do? You gonna be on mute the whole time? What you gonna do? Censor yourself? Stop lying to yourselves. So impossible to defend, impossible to patrol, impossible to contain. What? And it sounds impossible to say it without coming off as a hypocrite. So right. For me, I banned the word. For you, hopefully you will as well. Or you find yourself in positions like this.
Like my man Glen Kuiper.
I don't see how this is galvanizing, uplifting, or doing anything for anybody. But actually, of late, especially, having people just step in it. So it's a word that should be buried alive. We can watch it all suffer. Watch that word suffer, die. Go away word. But I love to hear what you guys think about it, because I know a lot of y'all use it, and a lot of my friends still use it. They, as a matter of fact, tease me because they know I don't use it. So they come and clown me and call me the word, and I just be like, you ain't gonna get me, dog. But at the same time, there are other people around the world, like my man, Mr. Kuiper, who get caught slipping.
Whew, I mean, it's spicy, right, y'all? And I I did get his name wrong, so it's Glen Kuiper. I'm not going to go back and edit it, but yeah, spicy situation, right? I mean, again, he said it so smooth. He didn't even react. His co-host didn't react. It's almost like, again, was it already in his mind? Was it, what did he already hear it earlier that day? Was it something that they were talking about off air? And then, like I said, camera started rolling. He forgot where he was and he misspoke. Did someone make a mistake on the teleprompter? Did he misread? Which is still, like, none of this is an excuse, but I'm just trying to figure out what possessed him to do this and say this, right? But I don't have to defend him. Like I said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not his employer. There is no way that this is going to get brushed under the rug, right? Unfortunately for him, he don't got the wealth and the power to do that. So he'll probably be a casualty of his own mistake. And hopefully it's not the end of his livelihood, right? But it's a lesson that he should learn. It's a lesson that everybody should learn, right? Like, I guess the moral of this video is we need to ban this word, right? This is another example of why this word just needs to be completely taken out of our vocabulary. Black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, whatever you want to consider yourself, we're all human. So it just needs to be taken out of the entire human race language. And then you don't feel like a hypocrite when you wanna, discipline someone for saying it, right? Because the easy comeback is, but you say it all the time. You listen to music, you support the industry, you do, and then it just gets in this circle, and then it's like, it diminishes the offensiveness of the word, right? And look, if we want something to be wrong, it has to be wrong for everyone. We can't get special privileges, right? Because that's our argument and our fight every day, right? Is that the wealthy and politicians and big corporates should not have benefits over average everyday citizens, right? So if we're going to argue for that and fight against that, we also got to take it down to even this micro level of words. And we just can't use offensive language and offensive words, no matter who you are. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think Mr. Kuiper should lose his job for his comment? Do you think the word needs to be banned? Do you think it is time, yes, for the N-word to be banned forever? Leave your comments below. If you like the video, hit the like button. I will have a link to Mr. Marcellus Wiley's video in the description below. Subscribe to his channel, support the brother. And if you want to hear more from me, support me. And last, but certainly not least, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of each other. That is all we got. Peace.